Okay, so many people have already talked about how Activision was acquired by Microsoft. And now news is breaking that Sony acquired Bungie. So we have a lot of big moves happening now. Where's all this coming from? How did Microsoft all of a sudden come to the decision to buy Activision? And how did Sony all of a sudden come to the decision to buy Bungie? Because these are both very big companies. You don't all of a sudden just go out and nonchalantly spend $68.7 billion. It seems like from recent reports that Microsoft bought Activision because they wanted to broaden their horizons. Oh yes, their horizons are definitely broadened. Company acquisitions by larger corporations are nothing new. We hear that a lot when it comes to media, and more specifically, the media industry. YouTube was bought up by Google, and Marvel was bought by Disney. These were huge, multi-billion-dollar acquisitions, and sometimes these acquisitions can be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. It just depends on how you look at it. We hear about it a lot in the gaming world. For example, YouTube was bought out by Google. Because they were bought out by Google, YouTube probably became bigger than ever. On the opposite side of the spectrum, they were bought out by Google, and then YouTube started getting ads. So what I'm trying to get at is that acquisitions like these have both positive and negative effects. Now, let's relate this back to video games and video game acquisitions. With video game acquisitions, a company is bought out by a large corporation, and now their video game IPs now belong to that corporation. Insomniac was bought out by Sony, so now games like Resistance and Ratchet & Clank now belong to Sony. Bethesda was bought out by Microsoft, so now games like Elder Scrolls now belong to Microsoft. Now, I wouldn't see this as a bad thing. Stuff like this happens all the time, and there will be small changes, but I don't feel like those changes are that big of a deal. Because think about this. Ratchet & Clank games have always been a Sony exclusive, and this was way before they were bought out by Sony. And Elder Scrolls games that released for the PlayStation are not being pulled off shelves because they now belong to Microsoft. I mean, that just wouldn't be smart. Now, with the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft and the acquisition of Bungie by Sony, I don't think it will change that much. Because those companies would be stupid to make all those games from Activision be exclusive to Microsoft and all the games from Bungie be exclusive to PlayStation. Microsoft purchased the rights to Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Call of Duty, and so much more. Do you think that Call of Duty will be exclusive to Microsoft? No, because Call of Duty makes millions every year. Do you think that Crash Bandicoot will be exclusive to Microsoft? I don't think so. This is a maybe. Changes come with large acquisitions. We just gotta live with them. Do you think that Destiny will be exclusive to PlayStation? No, because you're cutting down your audience for that game in half. This game is extremely popular and has sold millions upon millions of copies. And also, this is one of Bungie's only IPs. You would be losing money at that point if you didn't put it on both PlayStation and Xbox. So, for the most part, if I thought about this as critically as possible, with no bias whatsoever, I don't think that studio acquisitions are that big of a deal. Yes, they're a little scary because your favorite games are going to a company that some people don't know a whole lot about, so you want to make sure that your games are being treated the way that you want them to be treated. We want them to be preserved. We don't want them to be lost because we can't play them anymore because they're not on the platform that we use. But in all honesty, with these acquisitions, these giant acquisitions, that'll never happen. Hopefully I don't have to eat these words. I'm just being optimistic.